Okay, fantastic. Let's begin, guys. Let us begin. So today you will learn the gravity intraday strategy. You will learn the strategy rules. We will go through all the backtest results, and we'll also go through some real trade examples just to make sure that you completely understand the strategy. Okay? And if you have any questions, please ask me. I can see all your questions, right? So let's try to keep it as engaging as possible. And finally, I'll talk about the Trade Academy app just a little bit, okay? So in case it's your first webinar, I do see Abhishek here. It's his first webinar. Hi, Abhishek. So Trade Academy's aim is to make every trader successful. And you can learn from over 20 topics on the stock markets for absolutely free, no charge. And Trade Academy has users across 51 countries, including India, of course, and the US and Canada. And we are backed by Upstocks, that's the parent company. And we're backed by a wonderful group of investors, including Mr. Ratan Tata, Kalari Capital, and GDK Datix. So make sure you download the Trade Academy app from the Google Play Store. It's a free app, and using the app you can learn a lot of new things. You can take all the Trade Academy videos, you can book webinars, and of course you can use Scanner. So definitely take the first step and download the TA app. Okay, Gurutva, so what is this guy doing? Well, in case you've never watched the Olympics, this is called skiing, right? And there's definitely a unique form of skiing here where basically they get propelled into the air, and you know, it's measured by how far the skier jumps, right? And so this is a very unique event in the Olympics, and there's a force here, right? Eventually, as a skier is in the air, there is a force that is eventually going to bring him or her down to planet Earth, okay? And this is it, right? This is a very cool shot over here. You can see that the skier is propelled into the air, and then eventually the skier lands towards Earth. This is a very unique sport in the Olympics called the high jump, and basically the athlete runs and then jumps up and has to flip his or her body over this bar, and they have to flip themselves over the bar, and once again there is the same force that is being applied on the athlete, and it eventually brings the athlete back to the ground. And of course, basketball, one of my favorite sports. This is Blake Griffin, and he is jumping up, and he's going to slam dunk the ball. And of course, as he dunks the ball, he will fall back to the earth. And this is the high jump. And this is another Olympic sport. And as you can see, these athletes can jump a lot, but eventually they do fall back to Earth. And of course, that force is known as gravity, which is also a very, very good movie, in case you haven't seen it, one of my favorite movies of all time. And gravity is a fundamental force that basically brings all of us down to Earth, right? And everything we do at Trade Academy is backed by science, and that's why we like to use scientific concepts. Can someone tell me what gravity is? Can you tell me what gravity does? What is gravity? I'm asking all of you, what is gravity? I want someone to tell me exactly what gravity is. What is gravity? Mukesh says it is a force. Good. That's a good start, Mukesh. But what kind of a force? What does it do? It's a downward force. Good job, Chandrasekhar. So Chandrasekhar says it's a force which pulls us down. Exactly, right? And especially the higher up we go, it seems the stronger gravity is, right? Even though technically in science, gravity is always the same, but you know, gravity is very interesting because no matter how high up you go, you will fall back down. And let's see how this applies to the stock markets. Okay, so we all know Thomas Cook, right? Whenever we go to the airport and we want to get currency exchanged, right? Thomas Cook is where we go to get currencies exchanged. Now, this is a very interesting news item. Okay, it says Thomas Cook to raise 256 million pounds to manage looming summer debts. Okay, now can someone tell me, is this good news or bad news? Is this good news or bad news? It says Thomas Cook is to raise 256 million pounds to manage looming summer debts. Is this good news or bad news? It's bad news, right? So Bhavesh says bad news. Rajesh, Chandrasekhar, everyone is saying bad news. But you know what? Sometimes when we see this, right, when users read that Thomas Cook is raising this massive amount of money, we don't read the fine print. Okay? And sometimes a bailout is a good news, Okay? When Citibank got a big bailout in the US, it's technically bad news, but the markets looked at that as good news initially. Okay? So this is a price chart of Thomas Cook. All right? Now, pay attention, because it's very, very important that you pay attention. So we're going to go day by day, and we are going to see what's going on with Thomas Cook. Okay? So you can see here on 25th October that Thomas Cook went up about maybe 15 to 20 points, right? 15, 20 rupees. And again, we keep going forward, and we can see that the average range of Thomas Cook is around maybe 5 to 10 rupees, right? Over here, it's 3 rupees. Here, it's 2 rupees, 1 rupee, 3 rupees, 2 to 3 rupees, and so on. Okay, here there's a little bit more volatility, and no volatility here. Okay, it doesn't move very much within the day, right? Now, this is the day when the news came out, right here, on 15th of December. Do you guys see that? On 15th December, so let me go back to the previous slide. Okay, this is 15th December, and we can see that the news came out, and it says that Thomas Cook is looking to raise 256 million pounds to manage looming summer debts. And this is when the news came out, right here. Now we can see what happened, right? The price of Thomas Cook, it basically shot up, all the way up, right? It went from 198 all the way up to almost 215, and then it crashed all the way down. And what happened here is very interesting. So traders initially saw the news as being good news, okay? And then they realized that, you know what? This is not good news. And they brought the price all the way back down. And that's what makes gravity a force that is also applied in the stock markets. Gravity basically pushed the price of the stock down. Okay? Do you guys see that? Does everybody see what's happening here? The price opened over here, it shot all the way up, and then it came all the way back down, right? And so what we use in gravity, guys, is something called the average true range. Like I said at the beginning of the webinar, average true range is a very common indicator used in trading. Okay? Now what we're going to do in gravity is we're going to look at the average true range for the past 10 days. Okay? So in this case, it's going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And what I'm looking for is how much is Thomas Cook moving from its open to its high. Okay? So in this case, the open to high is almost nothing, right? Over here, it's around maybe 1 rupee, right? Open at 211 and went up to 212. Here it opened over here and went up all the way here. It's around 2 rupees. Here it's 2 rupees. Here it's around 2, 3 rupees. Here it's 3 rupees. 1 rupee, 1 rupee, around 2 rupees, around so 5 rupees here, around so 0 over here, and over here it went up from 198 all the way up to 213, right? So it's a massive jump from the open to the high. Okay? And what we do is we short the stock if this number is greater than the average of the past 10 days. Okay? Does that make sense? You look at the open to the high, you're calculating that difference, and you're comparing it to the average open to the high movement for the past 10 days. And whenever it jumps up, you short the stock. Okay? Does that make sense? I want to make sure you completely understand what I'm saying. Right? If you have any questions, please ask. Okay? Let's take one more example. Now, this is an example of Z. Okay? We all watch Z News, right? Our favorite news channel. Maybe not. Okay, but we all know about Z News and Z Entertainment. Now, this was news of the new CEO of Z News. Okay, so Z News, Z Entertainment introduced a new CEO. Now, do you think this is major news? Do you think the announcement of a new CEO is a huge deal? I want all of you to answer. Please tell me if you think the announcement, whether you think the announcement of a new CEO is a big deal. And how big of a deal is it? And do you think it's good news or bad news? So Z Entertainment introduced a new CEO. Okay. Now, do you think it's good news or bad news? Depends on circumstance. Yes, depends. Okay, so most of you are saying it's sort of a big deal, but not really. It depends. Good. Okay, so it is good news. Okay, but how good of a news is it? Not that big of good news, right? It's not that big of a deal. And you can see here, these are all the news reports that were released that day. And you can see that no one mentioned the fact that this guy was a new CEO, right? If you look at all the news reports for Z over the next 1 month, you can see that there's no mention of the fact that Z introduced a new CEO. Now, how does this matter? Well, if we know how gravity works, we know that if the stock goes up abnormally, we can short the stock, right? Now what we're doing, guys, is we're just looking at the high and the open, all right? So let me go through all the days over here, and let's see how much Z moves from the open to the high, okay? So this is around 522 up to about 545, right? So around 20 to 25 rupees. And you can see here that it's not moving much, not moving much. This is not much, not much, not much, not much. It's still within that range, right? In fact, it's less than 20 rupees. Over here, it's only going from 520 to maybe 535. It's around 15 rupees, right? You can see that it's basically moving on average around maybe 5 to 10 rupees a day, right? Over here, it moves a little bit more. It goes from 530 to 552, right? And then, boom, right here. Do you guys see it? It opened at 552 maybe, right? 551, 552, and went all the way up to 591. Is that a gravity trade? Is this a gravity trade, guys? Look at the open and look at the high. It went from 552 all the way to 591. That's basically a 40 rupee jump, right? And we know that the average is maybe 10, not even 10, right? It's probably closer to 5. If you look at the average open to high over the last 10 days, it's definitely not 10. Do you guys see that? Do you see how Z Entertainment gravity's down? I want everyone to say yes or no. Now, Ajay is saying, so simply as per this strategy, add ATR to open and decide sell price. Not necessarily, okay? Ajay, what you want to do is you want to look at the high to the open, okay? So high minus open. And you want to compare the today's high minus open to the 10-day average high minus open. Okay? And if today's high minus open is greater than 4 into the average, you short. Okay? So if I look at Z Entertainment again, what do you guys think the average open to high movement is for the past 10 days? So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Right? So over here, it's going from 520 to 528. It's around 8 rupees. Over here, it's 7 rupees. Over here, it's around maybe 4 rupees. Here, it's maybe 2 rupees. Right? So we can basically see that the average is probably around 3 to 4. Okay? And over here, we can see that it's shooting up 40. Do you see that? It's going from 552 all the way up to 591, right? Which is almost a 40 rupee jump. And that satisfies the criteria, right? And therefore, we short the stock. So Karan is asking me to start from the beginning. Do you guys want me to go from the beginning? If I get at least 2 more people to ask me to go from the beginning, I will repeat it. Okay, so Chandrasekhar is saying yes, Dharmesh is saying yes, Abneesh is saying yes. Okay, so what we're going to do, guys, is we are going to go back to the first example, all right? So let me see what price we're shorting the stock at here. Okay, perfect. So let me see if I can actually calculate the numbers for you, okay? So this is Thomas Cook once again. Now, we are not taking the average true range, guys. So someone is asking me, what is the average true range formula? So ATR is equal to the average of the high minus open, the open, so yesterday's close, so open minus, I'm just writing this out, open minus yesterday's close, and then we have high minus open and open minus low, okay? So that's the ATR. Now, that being said, we are not looking at the entire ATR. We are just looking at high minus open, okay? So don't focus on ATR. We are just looking at the high minus the open, okay? Do you guys all get that? Please say yes if you understand what I'm saying. We are only looking at the high minus the open, right? I want everyone to say yes. Okay? Now, perfect. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to look at the previous 10 days of Thomas Cook. Okay, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay? Now, I want all of you to tell me what is the high minus open for each day. Okay? Let's make this a group exercise. Okay, day 1. What is the high minus open? Over here. In rupees, what is the high minus open? Guys, right here, this should be very easy. Because Shiva, good job. Shiva says 0, right? 0, right? There's no, the high is basically the same thing as the open. Guys, you should, so reading a candlestick is step number 1, okay? This is Technical Analysis 101. The high is basically equal to the open, right? Abnish, Karan, Mukesh, Dhiren, I'm not sure why you guys are saying 2 rupees and 1 rupee, guys. This is probably this should be very simple. The open and the high are the same, right? Do you guys understand that? The open and the high are the same? Okay. Okay, fantastic. So please follow my cursor, okay? Now, let me go to day 2. What's the open minus high, or high minus open? Two, right? It is around 2. Perfect. Now day 3. Fantastic. You guys are all saying 2. Now, what about day number 3? Around 3. Perfect. Okay. And what about day number 4? Let's go quickly. What is day number 4? What is a high minus open? Around 5. Okay, good. Right? Maybe 4, 4.5. What about over here? Day number 5? Around 5 again. What about over here? Day number 6? Day number 6? Okay, around maybe 4 or 5. Okay, and 7 is around 1, right? 8 is around 2. 9 is around maybe 3 or 4. And 10 is around 0, right? So the average, guys, I don't have the exact calculation, okay? But it's going to be, I would say, actually you tell me, what do you think the average is? What is the average for the last 10 days? Around 3 to 4 rupees. Abhishek says 3 to 4. Everyone is saying around 4. Abhishek is saying 4 to 5. So I think maybe 4 is correct, right? Does that make sense? Perfect. Now, so let's assume it's maybe 4.5, okay? So now 4.5 into 4 is going to be 18, right? So therefore, whenever the price goes up by 18 rupees from the open, I will short the stock. Does that make sense? Does that make sense, guys? Please say yes or no. And 18 is equal to 4.5 into 4. Right? So Abnish is asking me to repeat. So Abnish, we know the average is 4.5 for the last 10 days, right? And 4.5 into 4 is 18. Therefore, if the price goes up 18 rupees, I short sell the stock. That's it. Does that make sense, Abnish? Fantastic. Okay. I'm so happy that you guys are all understanding this. That makes me very, very happy. Dhiren is saying average over the last 10 days. That's exactly right, Dhiren. The average over the last 10 days. Okay? So now, right? Perfect. So now let's go to the next example. Z Entertainment, right? Once again, so I'm going to just spot check this. This is going to be around maybe 8, right? It's going from 47 to 53, so around 8, 5. This is going to be the biggest one. It's going to be around maybe 15. So the average here is going to be around maybe 10. Right? What do you guys think? What's the average? What is the average range for Z Entertainment? What is the average open to high from, so this is day number 10, so 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. What is the average? Chandrasekhar is saying 8 to 10. Dhiren is saying 6. Abnish is saying 8. Right? So it's going to be probably around 8 to 10. Okay? I would say maybe around 10 actually, maybe 9. Okay? So once you scan this, okay, you can do this manually. You can also spot check it if you're good visually. You can also look at charts, right, visually, and once you see this happening in front of you, you can short sell it once you have some sort of average number for each stock. So let's assume it's maybe 9, okay? So 9 into 4 is going to be 36, right? So you can see here that 52 is going to be around the open, and 36 plus 52 is going to be 388, right? So I would short sell the stock right here. Okay? And if you do the actual calculation, the number is going to come out to, wow, that's a pretty good guess, guys. Good job. I didn't even see that number. So we did a very good job in working together on this. And that's the exact number, right? And when you do this, you would short sell at 588.5, and you would exit at the market close at 578.85. Okay? Does everybody understand what I did? Ajay is saying it was a correct call. Okay. So does everybody understand what I did here? Right? Do you guys all understand how gravity works? It's just looking at what is the average open to high, right? And once you get that, you multiply that by 4, and you add that to the open. Okay? So the exit price is going to be the market close, right? And technically you can get out of 315, right? Also works. So Abhishek is saying, but is the movement of 36 be in the same day? Yes, right? So basically on day number 11, once you get the average open to high, right? So let me write this down because I'm still getting a lot of questions. So average open to high equals 9, right? And so 9 into 4 equals 36. So if the open plus 36 is triggered, sell. Yes, this is intraday, Leadin, right? Nice. Perfect, guys. Fantastic. I'm so happy that you learned the gravity strategy. This is a very nice strategy, guys. Now, I'm going to give a few disclaimers here. Gravity can be very volatile, okay? It's a volatile strategy. And if you know bounce, bounce is kind of the opposite of gravity, okay? Yes, Abhishek is asking me, is there a scanner? Yes, I will just get to that, Abhishek, okay? I'll tell you about scanner in a little bit. But you know what's very interesting about gravity is that it's usually due to news. Okay, there's some sort of news event that triggers this kind of trade, and so you have to kind of be on the lookout, right? Because when you get that short sell, sometimes what happens is, you know, the price can go up before it falls. Okay, so that's when things can get a little vicious. The markets can be very vicious, but you know, due to gravity, it's just a scientific principle. The the price usually does fall. Now, guys, we don't use a stop loss in this strategy and scanner, but if you want to use a stop loss, okay, you can use anywhere between a 2% to a 5% stop loss. Okay, so 2% to 5% stop loss. So Shiva is asking me when to short. As soon as the gravity price hits, gets triggered. Okay. So Shiva, you would just short sell Z News as soon as the price got triggered, right? It's an intraday trade. So at 588.5, which is right over here, you would have short sold, and you would have bought at the market close. Okay. So from where 4 has come, that's what the strategy calls for. Okay, Karan? So Karan is saying, where does the 4 come from? We have found out that, you know, a good indication of a stock being in gravity is when the open to high goes up by at least, 4x, right? Because if you go back to, so over here, right? So whenever the, so technically this is incorrect. Let me fix this, okay? Average high to high minus open, right? So whenever the high minus open is 400% greater than the average, we exit, we enter the stock, right? And we exit at 315. Okay? And we're looking at the NSE 500 list. This is important. We are not looking at FNO. We are looking at the entire universe of stocks in NSE 500. Okay? Does anybody have any questions at all? If you have any questions, please let me know. So Abhishek, you would not take the trade if you get a signal after 3 p.m. Okay. So Karan is asking for one more example. Sure, no problem. Okay. So let me pull this up. Let's take an example from, say, I don't know. let's find an example here. So power grid, right? So power grid on 18th July, all right? So 18th July, so power grid. And if I look at the daily chart, okay, and so 18th July, so let me zoom in, and I want you guys to all see the trade, okay? Okay, so we are looking for gravity, okay? And let's see if everybody here can find the gravity trade. Do you guys all see it? It's not that obvious in this example. This is not the best example, but you should be able to see it. If you understood the concepts of gravity, you should be able to see the trade. So let's go through this. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. All right? So let's go through this. This is very interesting, actually. So on 4th of July, you can see that the high minus open is 0. Okay, let me zoom in a little bit more. Okay? So over here, 4th of July, the open minus high, or high minus open, is 0. Over here, it's 0 again, right? And 3 days in a row, the open was equal to the high. That is amazing, okay? And over here, it is around 70 paise, right? Again, it's 0. And here it is around 85 paise. And here it is 3.05 rupees. And again, just about 0, 0. And this is going to be around 2.2 rupees. Okay? So the average here, guys, is going to be around maybe 60 paise, right? 60 paise, 70 paise. Okay? So if you want to be a little conservative here, you can do it. But basically, I am looking for the high minus the open, right? Now you can see here that this is shot up by 3 rupees and 5 paise, right? Now, is that 4 times 50 paise? It is, right? This is 3 rupees 5 paise, and the average was around 50 paise. So 50 paise into 4 is 2 rupees, and obviously, 3 rupees is greater than 2 rupees, right? So you would basically short sell the stock as soon as it has jumped up by 2 rupees, okay? So I would have shorted at basically 218.95, right? So you would short sell the stock at 218.95, and you would buy back at 215.40. Do you guys all understand that? Did everybody understand what I did? So Karan is saying, is there an indicator named ATR? Yes, but we are not looking at the ATR. Okay, we're just looking at the high minus the open. Okay, market close, Abhishek, right? The market close will be the exit. So Abhishek is saying the average is 0.7. Fantastic, right? So that's a very good calculation, Abhishek. So Karan is asking for the manual calculation. So Karan, the open here is 216.95, okay? And Abhishek has calculated the average high minus open as 0.7. So therefore, 216.95 plus 4 into 0.7 is equal to 216.95 plus 2.8 is equal to, so let's do this, it's going to be 19.9, right? So you would short sell at 219.9 and you would buy back at 214.75. That's a pretty good profit. Okay? All right, guys, that's going to bring us to the end of the webinar. Now, I did get a couple questions on how to scan the stocks. Well, you can obviously try to do it yourself, right? You can use the charts. That's a good way to begin. And if you're ready for complete automation, okay, if you want to trade Gravity on a daily basis, well, these are the Gravity results. Okay, it's a very good strategy. It basically nets you 53% per year. Okay, and this is not using any leverage. Okay, and you know, with Scanner, if you want to subscribe to Scanner, you actually get 5 strategies. Okay, so Momentum is a BTC strategy, and you also get Gap Up, and these are some real examples that we've taken in Scanner, and you can also see the trade's performance right on the Trade Academy website. And if you have more questions on Scanner, I can tell you. So something I'm saying, Gravity seems like sell today, buy today, right? It is like that. Okay. And if you want to subscribe to Scanner, I will give you the link. Okay, you can use this discount link, and please keep in mind that we're also launching a futures version of Gravity and all the Scanner strategies. Okay, and for Scanner, guys, basically it's very simple. You will just download the app, okay, and you will get all the Gravity signals right on the phone. Okay, so it's very simple, and if you have any questions, please let me know. Okay, and if you subscribe, you will get access to Scanner from Monday onwards. So on Monday, we'll actually send you all the signals for Gravity. Okay, and Ajay is saying if opening equals low, should we take the trade? Well, Ajay, you wouldn't know if it's okay, because under the open within the same day. Does that make sense? So guys, if you want Gravity, okay, definitely subscribe to Scanner. It's a very good decision because you will get access to all the signals automatically, and we do have a good thing going on right now where if you subscribe before Independence Day, you actually get access to equity and futures. Okay, so we're launching Nifty, Bank Nifty, MCX. You'll get access to all of that within Scanner. Okay, this is daily. Dhiren is asking me. Which time frame? Daily chart. Okay. If you have any questions, please send us an email at support@tradeacademy.in. Have a fantastic weekend, right? And I will talk to you guys very, very soon. Have a great night.